At the farthest reach of our sight lies a boundary that should not exist, a frontier where light fails, time becomes uncertain, and the rules of physics begin to unravel. We are used to boundaries. We understand walls, fences, shorelines. We understand that things have ends. A book has a last page. A road has a terminus. A life has a conclusion. We find comfort in these limits because they give shape to our world. They tell us where here ends and there begins. But the universe, we are told, is infinite. It is a boundless ocean of stars and vacuum that goes on forever. So how can it have an edge? How can there be a place where the universe simply stops? Tonight, we are going to travel to that impossible place. We are going to leave the Earth, leave the solar system, and leave the galaxy. We are going to fly outward, past the islands of light, until we hit the wall. We will discover that this wall is not made of brick or ice or energy. It is made of time, and it is the most absolute, unyielding barrier in existence. To understand the edge, we must first unlearn how we see. When you look across a room, your vision feels instantaneous. You open your eyes, and the opposite wall is there. You don't feel the gap. You don't feel the transit. The light from the lamp hits the wall and bounces into your eye so fast that your brain stitches it into a single moment of now. This illusion of immediacy works perfectly on Earth. The distances are too small for the delay to matter. But space is different. Space is vast. And in space, the delay is everything. Light has a speed limit, 300,000 kilometers per second. It is fast, but it is finite. It is a courier that cannot be rushed. This means that looking out is looking back. When you look at the moon, you are not seeing the moon as it is now. You are seeing it as it was 1.3 seconds ago. You are seeing a ghost. When you look at the sun, you are seeing it as it was 8 minutes ago. If the sun were to vanish right now, we wouldn't know for 8 minutes. We would still feel its gravity and see its light, orbiting a star that no longer exists, trapped in a bubble of ignorance. As we look further, the delay deepens. Jupiter is 40 minutes ago. Pluto is 5 hours ago. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is 4 years ago. The Andromeda Galaxy is 2.5 million years ago. Think about that. When the light from Andromeda hits your retina tonight, it started its journey when humans did not exist. Homo habilis was just learning to chip stones in Africa. That light has traveled through the vacuum for the entire history of our species, just to end its journey in your eye. We are living in a time machine. The telescope is not an instrument for seeing distance. It is an instrument for seeing history. Now extend this logic to the limit. If we look further and further out, we look further and further back. 10 billion years, 12 billion years, 13 billion years. Eventually, we must reach a point where we are looking back so far that we reach the beginning. We reach the moment before the stars were born. We reach the moment before the galaxies coalesced. We reach the Big Bang itself. And before the Big Bang, there is nothing to see. There was no light. There was no space. So, if you look far enough in any direction, you eventually hit a wall of darkness. You hit the beginning of time. This is the edge. It is not a physical cliff where you would fall off into nothingness. If you were to fly to that distant point in a spaceship, you wouldn't find a wall. You would find more universe. You would find more galaxies, more stars, looking just like ours. But from our perspective, here on Earth, that point is the limit. We cannot receive any signal from beyond it. We cannot know what is happening there. This limit is called the observable universe. Imagine you are a sailor on a vast, flat ocean. The ocean goes on forever, but you are standing on the deck of your ship. You scan the horizon with binoculars. You can see for miles, but eventually the curvature of the Earth hides the ocean from you. There is a line, the horizon, where the sea meets the sky. Is the ocean ending at that line? No. If you sail to the horizon, you will find more water. But from where you are standing, the horizon is the edge of your reality. Anything happening beyond that line is invisible to you. A storm, a monster, another ship. They are causally disconnected from you. The universe is exactly like that ocean. But the horizon is not defined by curvature. It is defined by the speed of light and the age of the cosmos. We are inside a bubble. The bubble is centered on you, right now. You are the center of your own observable universe. The edge of the bubble is approximately 46 billion light-years away in every direction. Why 46 billion if the universe is only 13.8 billion years old? This is where the strangeness of the edge begins. The ocean is expanding. While the light has been traveling toward us for 13 billion years, the space it was traveling through has been stretching. Like a runner on a treadmill that is lengthening, the light has had to cover more ground. The object that emitted the light has moved away from us during the journey. So, the horizon is actually much further away than the age of the universe would suggest. Let us float in the center of this bubble. Visualize the sphere of the observable universe. It is a colossal ball of reality suspended in the void. Inside the sphere, there are 2 trillion galaxies. There are uncountable stars. There are nebulas, black holes, planets, civilizations perhaps. All of these things are causally connected to us. Light from them can reach us. Gravity from them can pull on us. We are part of the same web of cause and effect. But outside the sphere, there is more universe. We are almost certain of it. The theory of inflation suggests that the universe is vastly larger than our bubble, perhaps infinitely larger. There are galaxies out there that we will never see. There are stars burning in a sky that is forever black to us. They are acausal. They exist, but they do not exist for us. They are in a separate reality, severed from us by the expansion of space. If a civilization in one of those distant galaxies exploded a bomb that destroyed their entire cluster, we would never know. The light of the explosion, traveling at the maximum speed limit of the universe, would try to race toward us. But the space between us would expand faster than the light could travel. The message would be swept backward, like a swimmer in a riptide. We are safe from them, and they are safe from us. This isolation is profound. It means that the universe is fragmented. It is a collection of lonely bubbles, each one centered on an observer, each one containing a different set of galaxies. If you could teleport instantly to a galaxy on the edge of our vision, you would see a completely different universe. Our Milky Way would be on the edge of your new bubble, and you would see new galaxies further out that were previously hidden. You would have a new horizon. So the edge is not a property of the universe. It is a property of the observer. It is a personal limit. Let us drift toward this edge in our imagination. We leave the Earth. We fly past Mars, past Pluto, into the interstellar deep. We pass the stars of Orion. We leave the spiral arms of the Milky Way. We look back, and our galaxy is just a small smudge of light, a pinwheel in the dark. We fly past Andromeda. We fly past the Virgo cluster. We are moving faster than light now in our mind's eye, breaking the laws of physics to see the structure of the cage. As we travel outward, we notice something strange. The galaxies are changing. Near Earth, we saw mature galaxies, big, majestic spirals, old, yellow elliptical galaxies full of ancient stars. But as we get closer to the edge, the galaxies look younger. They are smaller. They are jagged, irregular clumps of blue stars. They are messy. Why? Because we are traveling back in time. The light from these distant objects took billions of years to reach Earth, so we are seeing them as they were billions of years ago. We are seeing the universe in its adolescence. We travel further, 10 billion light years. The galaxies are gone. Now we see only quasars. These are the brilliant, blinding cores of newborn galaxies, lit up by supermassive black holes feeding on gas. They shine like lighthouses across the deep. They are the beacons of the young cosmos. We travel further, 12 billion light years. The quasars disappear. The stars disappear. We have reached the Dark Ages. This is the era before the first stars ignited. The universe is filled with hydrogen gas. It is dark. It is silent. It is a fog. We are seeing the universe as a baby. It has not yet opened its eyes. We push through the fog. We travel back to 13.8 billion years ago. And then we hit the wall. It is not a black wall. It is a wall of fire. This is the cosmic microwave background, the CMB. It appears to us on Earth as faint radio static, but if you were close to it, or rather close to the time of it, it would be a blinding, searing wall of orange plasma. This is the moment the universe became transparent. Before this moment, the universe was a hot, dense soup of particles. Light was trapped. We cannot see past this wall. If we try to look further, we are looking into the opaque fireball of the Big Bang itself. Our vision is blocked by the density of the creation. So the edge of the observable universe is a sphere of fire surrounding us. It is the surface of last scattering. Everywhere you look, in every direction, if you look far enough, you hit this surface. You hit the beginning. Think about the geometry of this. We are surrounded by the Big Bang. Usually, we think of the Big Bang as an explosion that happened over there in the center, and we are flying away from it. But that is wrong. The Big Bang happened everywhere. It happened here, where the Earth is. It happened there, where the edge is. The reason we see it at the edge is because the light from that location is just reaching us now. So, the edge is actually a picture of the past. We are trapped in a sphere of history. The farther out we look, the younger the universe gets, until it becomes a newborn, and then nothing. What lies beyond the wall of fire? If we could step through the firewall, what would we find? We would not find fire, we would find more galaxies. Remember, the fire is just how it looks from here, because of the time delay. If you were actually standing at that location right now, billions of years have passed since that light was emitted. The fire has cooled. The gas has condensed. Stars have formed. If you could teleport to the edge of the universe today, you would find it looks just like our neighborhood. You would find mature galaxies, old stars, maybe planets with life. They would look back at us, at the Milky Way, and we would be their edge. To them, the Earth would not exist yet. They would see the Milky Way as a young, messy blob of blue stars, or, if they looked far enough, they would see us as the wall of fire. We are the edge of someone else's universe. This reciprocity is beautiful. It means there is no center and no edge. There is only the perspective of the observer. Every point in the universe is the center of its own observable sphere. Every point is the master of its own horizon. But there is a twist, a dark twist. The horizon is shrinking. Well, technically, the distance to the horizon is increasing as the universe ages. Light has more time to travel, so we can see further. But the amount of stuff inside the horizon is decreasing. This is due to dark energy. The expansion of the universe is accelerating. Space is being created between the galaxies faster and faster. The distant galaxies, the ones near the edge, are being pushed away from us. They are riding the flow of expansion. Currently, they are moving away from us faster than the speed of light. This sounds impossible. Einstein said nothing can move through space faster than light. But space itself can expand at any speed it likes. It is not a thing, it is the stage. So the galaxies at the edge are being swept over the horizon. Once they cross that line, they are gone. The photons they emit will try to reach us, swimming upstream against the flowing space, but the current will be too fast. They will be swept backward into the dark. We are losing the universe. Every second, a galaxy crosses the event horizon and vanishes from our future. We will never see it again. It has been disconnected from our reality. The universe is getting emptier. In the far, far future, billions of years from now, all the other galaxies will have been swept away. The expansion will have pushed them all over the edge. The horizon will close in. Not physically, the distance will still be huge, but it will be empty. Future astronomers on Earth will look up and see only the stars of our own galaxy, merged with Andromeda. They will see a static, lonely island in an infinite black void. They will not see the distant spirals. They will not see the cosmic microwave background. It will have faded to nothing. They will have no way of knowing that the universe is expanding. They will have no way of knowing about the Big Bang. The evidence will have been erased by the edge. They will think they are alone. We are living in a special time, a time when the edge is still visible, a time when the universe is transparent enough to see the beginning, but not yet so expanded that the structure has fallen apart. We can stand on the deck of our ship and see the other ships. We can see the shoreline of the creation. This feeling of the edge, the cosmic horizon, is not meant to be scary. It is meant to be defining. A room feels cozy because it has walls. If the walls were missing, you would feel exposed. The horizon is the wall of our cosmic room. It defines the space in which we live. It tells us, this is your reality. Everything inside this sphere is yours to know. Everything outside is mystery. It gives us a sense of place. As you lie in bed tonight, think of this sphere. You are at the exact center of a bubble of light that is 93 billion light years across. The bubble is filled with galaxies. like snow in a snow globe. The edge of the snow globe is the fire of the Big Bang, cooled by time into a gentle hum. Outside, the globe is the infinite ocean of the greater universe, forever silent, forever hidden. You are safe inside the bubble. The light from the edge is washing over you right now. Ancient radio waves, 13 billion years old, are passing through your room, passing through your body. You are connected to the edge. You are touching the boundary of time. Feel the now, the present moment. Your now is the only thing that is real. The past is a ghost at the edge of the universe. The future is a ghost beyond the horizon. But here, in the center, you are solid. You are anchored. The edge is far away. It cannot hurt you. It is just the limit of vision, the limit of light. Let the concept of the horizon soothe you. It means you don't have to know everything. You don't have to control everything. There are limits to what can be known, and that is a relief. Let your mind rest in the finite. In the next chapter, we will explore what happens when you try to approach the edge. We will talk about the redshift. We will see how the light gets tired as it travels, how it changes color from blue to red to black. We will see how the universe acts as a filter, slowly dimming the lights of the past until they are gentle enough for us to bear. We will explore the mechanism of the fading. But for now, stay in the center, stay in the bubble. The universe is vast, but your place in it is specific. You are the observer. You are the eye of the storm. Rest in the clarity of your own horizon. We have established the boundary. We know that we are living inside a bubble of observable reality, surrounded by a horizon of fire that marks the beginning of time. But to truly understand the edge, we must look away from the wall and look at the space in between. We must look at the medium that connects us to the boundary. We must look at light. Light is the messenger. It is the only way we know the universe exists. Every star you see, every galaxy you detect, every atom of the cosmic microwave background is revealed to you by a stream of photons landing on a sensor. Without light, we would be blind, isolated in a dark room of infinite size. But this messenger has a rule. It has a speed limit. And this limit is the most important number in physics. It dictates the shape of reality. It defines what can happen and what cannot. It defines the now. Tonight, we will explore the geometry of this limit. We will visualize the light cone, the structure of cause and effect that anchors you to the present moment. We will see how the finite speed of light creates a universe of ghosts, where everything we see is already gone. And we will find comfort in the isolation, realizing that the delay is what keeps the universe from happening all at once. Let us begin with the number. Tidlers, 300,000 kilometers per second, roughly 1 billion kilometers per hour. To us, living on a small rock, this speed seems instantaneous. If you switch on a lamp, the room floods with light immediately. You do not see the wave of illumination travel from the bulb to the wall. The distances of our daily lives are so small that the delay is measured in nanoseconds, billionths of a second. Our brains are too slow to notice. We live in the illusion of simultaneity. But the universe is not built on the scale of a room. It is built on the scale of the void. And on this scale, light is slow. It is agonizingly, beautifully slow. Imagine a conversation between the Earth and Mars. You say hello. Your voice is converted into a radio wave, which travels at the speed of light. It leaves Earth. It crosses the vacuum. It takes between 3 and 22 minutes to reach Mars, depending on where the planets are in their orbits. The person on Mars hears hello 20 minutes after you said it. They say hi back. That reply takes another 20 minutes, 40 minutes of silence between the greeting and the response. This delay destroys the concept of a shared moment. You and the Martian are never in the same now. You are trapped in your own time bubbles, sending letters across a temporal ocean. Now, scale this up. To the nearest star, the delay is 4 years. To the center of the galaxy, 26,000 years. To the nearest major galaxy, Andromeda, 2.5 million years. This means that the universe is not a live broadcast. It is a recording. The sky is a vast archive of ancient history. When you look up, you are digging through layers of sediment in the river of time. The deeper you look, the older the sediment. This creates a phenomenon known as the light cone. Imagine a graph. The vertical axis is time. The horizontal plane is space. You are at the center point, the here and now. From your position, extend 2 lines upward into the future, forming a V shape. This is your future light cone. It represents all the places you could possibly reach, and all the places you could possibly send a signal to, assuming you cannot travel faster than light. Anything inside this cone can be affected by you. You can push it, pull it, or send it a message. You have causal power over it. Anything outside this cone is beyond your reach. Even if you shine the brightest laser in existence, the light will not reach those regions quickly enough. They are elsewhere. They are disconnected from your future. Attachment. Attachment. Now, extend 2 lines downward into the past. This is your past light cone. It represents all the events in the universe that could have affected you. Every star whose light has reached you, every gravity wave that has passed through you, lies inside this cone. But here is the haunting part. The vast majority of the graph lies outside both cones. This is the absolute elsewhere. Imagine a star exploding right now in the Andromeda galaxy. This event is happening now in a cosmic sense, but it is outside your past light cone. The light hasn't reached you, and it is outside your future light cone. You cannot warn them. This event exists in a ghost zone. It is real, but it is not real for you. It will not enter your reality for 2.5 million years. This geometry teaches us that reality is local. There is no universal now that covers the whole cosmos. There is only your now. The universe is a patchwork of billions of individual light cones, overlapping and interacting. We are only connected to the things that are close enough for the light to have bridged the gap. This sounds isolating, but there is a flip side. The speed limit is a form of protection. If light and gravity were instantaneous, if Newton was right and forces acted infinitely fast, then every event in the universe would affect every other event immediately. A supernova going off 1 billion light years away would instantly hit us with gravity. The chaotic motion of every star in the cosmos would buffet the Earth constantly. The universe would be a noisy, chaotic, overwhelming cacophony of instantaneous feedback. The speed limit acts as a buffer. It acts as a damper. It ensures that distant disasters stay distant. It ensures that we are buffered from the violence of the cosmos by the thick cushion of time delay. When a black hole merges in a distant galaxy, creating a tsunami of gravitational waves, that tsunami takes 1 billion years to reach us. By the time it arrives, it has spread out, it has weakened. It washes over us as a tiny ripple, a harmless chirp, rather than a catastrophic tear. The delay creates stability. It allows local systems to evolve in peace, undisturbed by the far-off storms. Let us dive deeper into the experience of the photon itself. We have spoken about how light takes time to travel from A to B, but that is from our perspective, the perspective of the stationary observer. What does the universe look like from the perspective of the photon? Einstein's special relativity tells us that as you move faster, time slows down. This is time dilation. If you travel at 99% of the speed of light, a journey that takes a year for the observer might only feel like a week to you. As you get closer to the speed of light, time slows down more and more. The curve is exponential. If you could reach 100% of the speed of light, which you can't because you have mass, but a photon can because it is massless, time stops completely. To a photon, the journey takes 0 time. A photon leaves the surface of a star in the Andromeda galaxy. It travels across the intergalactic void. It enters the Milky Way. It enters the solar system. It hits the atmosphere of Earth. It strikes your eye. To us, that journey took 2 million years. We aged. Civilizations rose and fell. Continents drifted. But to the photon, it was instantaneous. The moment of emission and the moment of absorption were the same moment. To light, there is no distance. The universe is contracted to a single point. The star and your eye are touching. This is a mind-bending realization. From the point of view of light, the universe has no size and no time. It is a singularity of connection. Every photon that strikes your skin is a direct, timeless link to its source. When you feel the warmth of the sun, you are touching the sun. There is no time gap for the energy. The gap exists only for us, the creatures of mass, stuck in the slow lane of time. So, the edge of the universe is not just a spatial boundary. It is the limit of this connection. Think about the darkness. Again, the spaces between the stars. This darkness is filled with these timeless travelers. Photons from the Big Bang, photons from dead quasars, photons from the first stars. They are all rushing through the void, frozen in their own internal timelessness, waiting to hit something, waiting to deliver their message. For 13 billion years, they experience nothing. They simply exist. And then, whack, they hit a dust grain, or a planet, or an eye. And suddenly, their energy is unloaded. The message is delivered. I was here. I existed. The observable universe is built of these delivered messages. But what about the messages that don't arrive? This brings us back to the horizon. Because the universe is expanding, space is stretching. This stretching affects the race between the photon and the observer. Imagine an ant walking on a rubber band. The ant is the photon. It walks at a constant speed. But you are stretching the rubber band. If you stretch it slowly, the ant will eventually reach the end. It will take longer than expected, but it will get there. But if you stretch the rubber band fast enough, the ant will never reach the end. The rubber in front of the ant is expanding faster than the ant can walk. The finish line is receding. This is the situation with the distant universe. Dark energy is stretching space. The distant galaxies are the finish line. We are the starting line, from the perspective of light coming to us. There are photons that are trying to reach us right now. They are flying through the void at the speed of light, but the space in front of them is growing. They are swimming upstream. They are losing ground. These photons are trapped behind the cosmic event horizon. They will never reach us. They will travel forever, traversing an infinite amount of stretching space, but they will never close the gap. We are forever cut off from the news they carry. This creates a sense of cosmic censorship. There are truths about the universe that are physically impossible for us to know. There are parts of the story that have been redacted by the expansion. It means our map of reality will always be incomplete. We can never see the whole picture. We are condemned to see only the local bubble, the patch of the universe where light can still win the race against expansion. But let us find the peace in this limitation. The horizon defines our home. It creates a cosmic village. If we could see everything, if we were connected to everything, the sheer scale of the information would be crushing. The universe is too big to be fully known by a finite mind. The horizon scales the universe down to a manageable size. It gives us a sandbox we can comprehend. Look at the hierarchy of causality. You are most strongly connected to the things closest to you: the Earth, the Sun, the Moon. These are the things that matter to your existence. Their gravity holds you. Their light feeds you. The distant galaxies, they are beautiful, but they are irrelevant to your survival. They exert no force on you. They are just pictures on the ceiling of the night. Gravity and light fade with distance, the inverse square law. If you double the distance to a light source, the brightness drops by 4. If you triple the distance, it drops by 9. This law ensures that the local dominates the global. It ensures that the sun is brighter to us than all the billions of other stars in the galaxy combined. It creates a sphere of influence where you are the most important thing in your own life. The physics of the universe is designed to prioritize the here and now. Let us visualize the light cone one more time, but this time, visualize it as a feeling. Imagine a cone of golden light extending downwards from the sky, narrowing until it touches the top of your head. This is your connection to the past. It is a funnel. All the history of the cosmos that has led to this moment is pouring down that funnel. The carbon in your cells, forged in stars, the light hitting your eyes, the gravity holding your feet, it all flows down the cone, converging on you. You are the focal point of 13 billion years of history. Now imagine a cone extending upwards from your body, widening out into the future. This is your influence. Everything you do, every word you speak, every breath you take, every tiny movement sends ripples up into that cone. Those ripples travel at the speed of light, or sound, or heat. They spread out. They will touch the air in the room, then the walls, then the sky. A tiny amount of heat from your body will radiate into space tonight. It will travel as infrared light. It will escape the solar system. It will travel for millions of years. One day, far in the future, that tiny wave of heat might hit a dust grain in a distant nebula. It will warm that grain slightly. You have changed the universe. You are part of the causal chain. You are not an observer standing outside the tank. You are a fish swimming in the water. You are knitting the future with every heartbeat. But remember the limit. You cannot change the past. It is outside your cone. And you cannot change the absolute elsewhere. You cannot control what is happening in the Andromeda Galaxy right now. You cannot control what is happening on the other side of the Earth right now. You can only control the here. This is the physics of mindfulness. The laws of relativity teach us that our power is strictly limited to our immediate surroundings. The horizon of your influence is small, and that is a relief. You do not carry the weight of the whole cosmos. You only carry the weight of your local moment. As you rest here, feel the boundaries of your own personal light cone. It is the size of your room. The only things that matter right now are the things that can touch you: the air, the blankets, the dark. Everything else is elsewhere. The problems of tomorrow, they are outside the cone. They haven't arrived yet. The regrets of yesterday, they are outside the cone. They are gone. There's only the vertex, the 0 point, the now. Light moves fast, but in the now, everything is still. Let the speed of light act as a barrier to your worries. Visualize your worries as objects trying to reach you from far away, but space is expanding. The distance is growing. They are trying to swim upstream, but the river of peace is flowing too fast. They are being swept back over the horizon. They cannot touch you. You are shielded by the geometry of space-time. You are safe inside the bubble. The stars are far away. The edge is far away. The beginning is far away. Here, in the center, it is quiet. The light from the lamp has faded. The light from the screen has faded. You are left with the internal light, the bioelectricity of your own brain. It, too, is slowing down. The neurons are firing rhythmically. The brain waves are lengthening, from beta to alpha to theta to delta. You are redshifting into sleep. Your consciousness is expanding, becoming slower, deeper, darker. You are joining the flow of the universe. In the next chapter, we will leave the abstract geometry and look at the physical reality of what happens to the light as it travels. We will explore the redshift in detail, the tiring of the light. We will see how the blue fire of the young stars is slowly stretched into the gentle red glow of the old stars, and finally into the invisible heat of the background. We will see how the universe acts as a giant filter, softening the harshness of reality as it crosses the void. We will learn why the distant universe looks red and why the edge looks black. But for now, stay in the cone. You are the receiver. The universe is sending you a signal of silence. Accept the transmission. Rest in the delay, rest in the safety of the distance. The light will return in the morning. For now, the dark is enough. We have established that the universe is a bubble of time, defined by the speed of light. We know that looking out is looking back. But the light that reaches us from the edge is not the same light that left the source. It arrives changed. It arrives weathered. It arrives tired. To understand the edge, we must understand this transformation. We must understand why the distant universe looks red and why the furthest reaches look black. We must explore the redshift. This is not just a trick of optics. It is a fundamental interaction between light and the fabric of space-time. It is the mechanism by which the universe cools itself. It is the process that turns the blinding fire of the Big Bang into the gentle, sleeping dark of the night sky. Tonight, we will follow a single beam of light on its multi-billion-year marathon. We will watch it lose its energy, stretch its stride, and fade into invisibility. We will see how the universe acts as a giant filter, softening the harsh reality of the cosmos before it touches our eyes. Let us begin with the anatomy of a sunbeam. Light is a wave. It is a ripple in the electromagnetic field. Like a wave on the ocean, it has a crest and a trough. The distance between two crests is called the wavelength. Our eyes are measuring instruments. We measure this wavelength and interpret it as color. Short, tight waves, where the crests are packed closely together, are seen as blue or violet. These waves are energetic. They carry a punch. Ultraviolet light has a wavelength so short it can knock electrons off atoms. It creates chemical reactions. It burns. Long, lazy waves, where the crests are far apart, are seen as red. These waves are low energy. They are gentle. Infrared light has a wavelength longer than red. We feel it as heat. Radio waves are even longer, meters or kilometers long. They pass through us without us noticing. So, the spectrum is a sliding scale of energy. Blue is high tension, red is low tension. Now, imagine a star born in the early universe, a massive hot blue supergiant. It ignites in a galaxy 12 billion light-years away. It emits a photon, a single particle of light. When this photon is born, it is blue. It is vibrating furiously. It has a short wavelength. It launches into the void at the speed of light, carrying the energy of the fusion reactor that made it. If space were static, if the universe were a fixed box, the photon would travel for 12 billion years and arrive at Earth exactly as it left. It would hit your eye as a spark of blue light. But space is not static. We are living in an expanding balloon. While the photon is traveling, the road beneath its feet is stretching. Imagine drawing a wavy line on a rubber band. Now, pull the ends of the rubber band. The wave stretches. The peaks move further apart. The wavelength increases. This is exactly what happens to the photon. It is embedded in the fabric of space. As the fabric expands, the photon expands with it. Attachment. Attachment. It is crucial to understand that this is different from the Doppler effect. The Doppler effect happens when an object moves through space. A police car rushing away from you sounds lower pitched because the sound waves are stretched by its motion. But the distant galaxy is not moving through space away from us. It is sitting relatively still in its local area. It is the space itself that is growing. The photon is not just being dragged, it is being physically elongated. Its very identity is being rewritten by the expansion. So let us watch our blue photon. It travels for 1 billion years. The universe expands by 10%. The photon stretches. It is no longer blue. It is green. It has lost some of its energy. Where did the energy go? It went into the work of expansion. It faded into the fabric. It travels for another 5 billion years. The universe is much bigger now. The photon stretches further. It becomes yellow, then orange, then red. It is now a red giant version of its former self. It is the same photon, but it is tired. It is lazy. It has redshifted. By the time it reaches Earth, 12 billion years after it started, it might have stretched so much that it is no longer visible light at all. it might be infrared. To see it, we need special eyes. We need the James Webb Space Telescope. When James Webb looks at the deepest fields of the universe, it sees galaxies that are glowing bright red. These galaxies were not red when they were young. They were blazing white and blue, but the journey has aged their light. We are seeing the youth of the universe through the lens of old age. This cosmological redshift is denoted by the letter Z. A zetance of 0 means no shift, modern times. A zetance of 1 means the wavelength has doubled. The universe has doubled in size since the light was emitted. A zetance of 10 means the universe has expanded by a factor of 11. The further we look, the higher the zeta, the redder the light. And eventually, we reach the limit. Go back to the wall of fire, the cosmic microwave background, the edge. This light comes from the moment the universe became transparent, 380,000 years after the Big Bang. At that moment, this universe was hot, 3,000 degrees Kelvin. It glowed with a bright orange-white light. If you had been there, it would have been blinding. But that light has been traveling for 13.8 billion years, and during that time, the universe has expanded enormously by a factor of 1,100. The wavelength of that light has been stretched 1,100 times. It was visible light, about 500 nanometers. Now it is microwaves, about 2 millimeters. Microwaves are invisible to the human eye. They are cold. They have very low energy. This is the solution to the mystery of the dark sky. The edge of the universe is a wall of fire. It is glowing, but the expansion has stretched that fire until it is cold and dark to our eyes. The fire has been cooled by the stretching of space. Think about the mercy of this physics. If the universe were not expanding, the light from the Big Bang would hit us with its original intensity. The sky would be 3,000 degrees. The Earth would be vaporized. Life would be impossible. We exist because the universe expands. We exist because the light gets tired. The expansion acts as a heat sink. It takes the high-quality, dangerous energy of the beginning and dilutes it, spreading it out over a larger and larger volume, stretching it into harmless radiostatic. The darkness of the night sky is the visible evidence of the universe making itself safe for life. Let us rest in this idea. The darkness is not an absence, it is shifted light. When you look at a patch of empty sky between the stars, you are not looking at nothing. You are looking at the Big Bang. Your eyes just aren't tuned to see it. If you could turn a dial on your eyes, shift your perception into the microwave range, the night would disappear. The entire sky would glow with a uniform, pearly luminescence. You would see the sphere of the edge. But in our visible spectrum, it is black. This reddening applies to information as well. High-frequency waves carry a lot of information. You can pack a lot of data into a blue laser beam. Low-frequency waves carry less information. Radio waves are slow. They carry data at a lower rate. As the light from the edge is stretched, the news from the early universe is slowed down. The events of the Big Bang are played back to us in extreme slow motion. Imagine a clock on the wall of the fireball. It ticks once a second. By the time the image of that clock reaches us, the expansion has stretched the gap between the ticks. We see the clock tick once every 100 seconds. We are watching the beginning of time unfolding at a snail's pace. This is cosmological time dilation. means that the deep past is not fleeting. It is lingering. The universe preserves its history by slowing it down. It allows us to study it, to measure it, to understand it. Now, let us consider the future of this light. The universe is still expanding. In fact, it is accelerating. Dark energy is pushing the horizon away. This means the redshift is increasing. The microwaves we see today will eventually be stretched into radio waves, then into ultra-long radio waves. The wavelength will become as long as a planet, then as long as a solar system, then as long as a galaxy. As the wavelength grows, the energy drops towards zero. The glow of the Big Bang acts like a battery that is slowly running down. It is fading. Billions of years from now, the signal will be so weak, so stretched, that it will be indistinguishable from the random noise of the vacuum. The wall of fire will disappear. The edge will fade into true, absolute black. Future astronomers will look out and see nothing. The distant galaxies will have redshifted out of view. Their light will be stretched so thin it cannot be detected. They will be redshifted into oblivion. This creates a sense of profound solitude. But it also creates a sense of preciousness. We are seeing the universe at its most vibrant. We are seeing the twilight of the Big Bang just before night truly falls. Imagine the photon again, the tired traveler. It has crossed the great voids. It has dodged the gravity wells of galaxy clusters. It has survived the expansion. It hits the mirror of a telescope, or it hits the chlorophyll in a leaf, or it hits your skin. It gives up its last shred of energy. It warms you. That warmth is the oldest energy in existence. It is a direct contact with the source. Even though it has changed color, even though it has lost power, it is still the same entity. The continuity is unbroken. Think of the redshift as a lullaby. The universe takes the high-pitched scream of the birth cry and lowers the tone. It hums it down an octave, and another, and another, until it becomes a deep, resonant hum, a white noise, a sound conducive to sleep. The universe is singing us to sleep with the red-shifted light of its own creation. As you lie in the dark, visualize the spectrum. Time, threes. Imagine the color blue, bright, sharp, awake. The color of the noon sky, the color of young stars. Now let it slide. Let it soften into green, the color of the mid-afternoon. Let it warm into yellow, the color of the sun setting. Let it deepen into orange, the color of the dusk. Let it fade into red, the color of the embers in the fire, the color of the distant galaxies. Let it slip into infrared, the color of heat, the feeling of the blankets, the warmth of your own body. Let it stretch into radio, the invisible waves, the silence. Your mind is following the path of the photon. You are redshifting your thoughts. The high-energy thoughts, the worries, the plans, the sharp details of the day are blue. They are short wavelengths. Let them stretch. Let the distance between one thought and the next increase. Let the frequency of your mind slow down. From beta waves, awake, to alpha waves, relaxed, to theta waves, dreaming, to delta waves, deep sleep. This is the neural redshift. You are expanding the space inside your mind. You are letting the tension dissipate into the void. Just as the universe cools by expanding, you cool by expanding your awareness. Let the details blur. Let the sharp edges of the world soften into the infrared. You are entering the dark ages of the night, the time before the new stars of tomorrow ignite. It is a time of restoration. The light is not gone, it is just resting. It has become potential energy, waiting to be compressed again by the waking mind. But for now, the direction is outward. The direction is red. Feel the comfort of the low energy state. High energy requires effort to maintain. Low energy is natural. It is the direction of flow. Let yourself flow downstream with the tired light. There's no need to swim upstream. There's no need to try to catch the blue photons of the past. They're gone. Be with the radio waves of the present, the slow, rhythmic pulses of the resting body. The heartbeat, the breath. Out. Blue, red. The universe handles the transition for you. You don't have to do anything. Gravity and expansion do the work. In the next chapter, we will look at what lies beyond the redshift. We will ask the question, if the universe is a bubble, what is outside the bubble? We will explore the concept of the multiverse. Time at threes. Is our observable universe just one droplet in a boundless, foaming ocean of other universes? Are there other bubbles bumping into ours? We will look at the theory of eternal inflation. But for now, stay in the spectrum. Stay in the fading light. The edge is dark because the light has traveled a long way to reach you. It is tired. It wants to rest. And so do you. Let the red glow surround you. Let it deepen into black. The day is done. The wavelength is long. Rest in the redshift. We have traveled to the edge of our vision. We have touched the wall of fire that marks the beginning of our time. We have watched the light of distant galaxies stretch and fade into the infrared dark. We have defined the boundaries of the bubble in which we live. But the human mind hates a boundary. If you build a wall, the first thing we ask is, what is on the other side? Is the observable universe all there is? Is the edge of light the edge of reality? Or is our bubble just a tiny, fragile droplet suspended in a much larger, wilder ocean? Tonight, we are going to break the rules. We are going to step outside the horizon. We are going to leave the safety of our local Big Bang and enter the bulk. We will explore the theory that suggests we are not alone, that our universe is just one of many, drifting in a timeless, expanding foam. We are going to explore the multiverse. To reach this place, we must go back to the very beginning, before the stars, before the darkness, before the wall of fire. We must go back to the first fraction of a second. The standard story of the Big Bang tells us that the universe began hot and dense, and then expanded and cooled. But this story has a plot hole. It doesn't explain why it started expanding. It doesn't explain the bang. To fix this, physicists introduced a new chapter called inflation. Imagine the universe at time zero. It is a speck, a tiny knot of space, far smaller than a proton. But this speck is filled with a peculiar type of energy, inflaton energy. It is a repulsive force, similar to the dark energy we see today, but infinitely stronger. Suddenly, this energy snaps. It drives the space to expand. But this isn't a gentle expansion. It is explosive. It is exponential. In a decimal of a second so brief that we have no name for it, 10 to the power of minus 35 seconds, the universe doubles in size. Then it doubles again, and again, and again. It doubles 100 times in the blink of an eye. It stretches from the size of an atom to the size of a grapefruit, then to the size of the Earth, then to the size of a galaxy, then to a size vast beyond comprehension. This stretching smoothed out the universe. It pulled all the wrinkles tight. It made the cosmos flat and uniform. This explains why the sky looks the same in every direction. It was ironed flat by the violence of inflation. But here's the crucial part. Inflation had to stop. Eventually, the inflaton energy decayed. It transformed. Its phase shifted from high-energy expansion into normal matter and radiation. The energy of the stretching space was dumped into the vacuum, creating a hot soup of particles, the quarks, the electrons, the photons. This moment, the stopping of inflation, is what we call the Big Bang. It is the moment the fire was lit. It is the moment our clock started ticking. But did inflation stop everywhere at once? The theory of eternal inflation says no. Think of a pot of boiling water. The water represents the high-energy inflaton field. It is expanding wildly. Bubbles of steam form in the water. Inside the bubble, the water has turned to gas. The phase has changed. Our universe is one of these bubbles. Inside our bubble, the inflation stopped. The energy turned into stars and galaxies. The laws of physics as we know them froze out and became stable. But outside our bubble, the water is still boiling. The inflaton field is still expanding. It is expanding so fast that it pushes other bubbles away from us faster than the speed of light. This means that inflation never ends. It is eternal into the future. It is constantly creating new space, and in that new space, new bubbles are constantly forming. This is the bubble multiverse. Let us try to visualize this geography. Imagine you are floating in a hyperspace called the bulk. It is a higher dimensional space that contains everything. The bulk is expanding furiously. It is a roaring storm of geometry. Floating in this storm are quiet islands, bubbles. They look like shimmering spheres of glass suspended in the chaos. Fly closer to one. This bubble is a pocket universe. Inside, it is calm. The storm of inflation has died down. Inside, there is normal time. There is normal space. There are stars. We are living inside one of these glass spheres. Our edge, the cosmic horizon, the wall of fire, is simply the inner surface of our bubble wall. It is the boundary where our patch of calm meets the eternal storm outside. But look around in the bulk. There are other bubbles. There is one over there, and another, an infinite foam of universes drifting in the super-expanding sea. Some are small, universes that just formed a second ago. They are young, hot, and filled with blinding light. Some are old, universes that formed trillions of years ago. They're cold, dark, and empty, their stars long dead. And they are all moving away from each other. The space between them is growing so fast that they can never meet. They are isolated by the speed of the bulk. But here is the strangest thought. Each bubble might be different. When inflation stops and a bubble forms, the energy freezes into matter, but the way it freezes might be random. Think of water freezing into ice. Sometimes it forms clear ice, sometimes cloudy ice, sometimes hexagonal crystals. It depends on how it cools. When a universe freezes out, the laws of physics might freeze differently. In our bubble, the speed of light is 300,000 kilometers. In another bubble, it might be 10 kilometers, or a billion. In our bubble, electrons are light and protons are heavy. In another, electrons might be heavy. Atoms would look totally different. Chemistry would be impossible. In our bubble, gravity is attractive. In another, gravity might be repulsive. That universe would blow itself apart instantly. In our bubble, space has 3 dimensions. In another, it might have 4 or 2. Imagine a flatland universe inhabited by 2-dimensional paper people sliding over a surface. This is the landscape of string theory. It suggests there are 10 to the power of 500 possible ways to build a universe. That is a 1 followed by 500 zeros. And in the eternal inflation model, nature tries them all. Somewhere in the infinite foam, every possible universe exists. There are universes that are just vast oceans of light, with no matter at all. There are universes that are black holes, crushing everything down to a point. There are universes that are chaotic soups of particles that never form atoms. And there are universes like ours, Goldilocks universes. Universes where the numbers are just right, where carbon can form, where stars can burn for billions of years, where life can open its eyes and ask, "Where am I?" This solves the mystery of fine-tuning. Physicists have long wondered why the constants of nature seem so perfectly tuned for life. If the strong nuclear force were slightly weaker, atoms wouldn't hold together. If gravity were slightly stronger, stars would burn out in a year. Why did we get the lucky numbers? The multiverse answers, we didn't get lucky. We are just one ticket in a lottery with trillions of losers. In the vast majority of bubbles, there is no life to ask the question. Those universes are barren and silent. We are here because this is one of the rare places where we can be. This idea is humbling. It removes us from the center of creation. We are not the masterpiece. We are just one sample from an infinite factory. But it is also grand. It means that reality is incredibly rich. Nature does not waste potential. If something can happen, it does happen somewhere in the foam. Time hit 3s. Now, let us ask a dangerous question. Can the bubbles touch? Usually, the expansion of the space between them keeps them apart, but sometimes 2 bubbles might form close together. They might expand into each other. What happens when 2 universes collide? It would be a cataclysm beyond imagination. A domain wall would form, a boundary where the laws of physics clash. If a bubble with different laws hit ours, it might annihilate us, or it might leave a scar. Astronomers have actually looked for these scars. They have scoured the map of the cosmic microwave background, the wall of fire, looking for circular bruises, rings where another universe might have bumped against ours in the deep past. They found a cold spot, a region in the southern sky that is unexpectedly chilly. Is it a bruise? Is it the fingerprint of a neighbor? We don't know. It might just be a random fluctuation, but the possibility remains. The edge might have been touched. But let us pull back from the collisions. Let us return to the feeling of floating in the bulk. Imagine the view. You are outside space and time as we know it. You see the bubbles glowing softly in the dark. They are iridescent, like soap bubbles. The colors on their surfaces represent the different physical laws inside. Some are blue, some are red, some are colors that human eyes cannot conceive. They pulse, they grow, some pop and vanish, others merge. It is a garden, a cosmic garden. The gardener is inflation. It is the soil that grows universes. This perspective changes the meaning of the edge. Our edge, the 46 billion light-year horizon, is not the end of everything. It is just the walls of our house. Outside the house, there is a street, and a city, and a world. we can never leave the house. The physics forbids it. The space between the bubbles is expanding faster than light. It is a moat we cannot cross. But knowing the city is there changes how we feel about the room. We are not trapped in a small, finite box. We are part of an infinite majesty. Does this make you feel small, or does it make you feel large? You are a citizen of the multiverse. The atoms in your body follow the specific, beautiful laws of this bubble. You are a tuned instrument resonating with the specific frequency of this reality. Let us rest in this resonance. Think of the laws of physics that hold you to the bed. Gravity, electromagnetism, the Pauli exclusion principle that keeps you from falling through, the mattress. These are local laws. They are the house rules of our bubble. They are working perfectly. They are stable. Outside, in the chaotic bulk, laws might be changing wildly, but inside it is calm. Our bubble is a sanctuary, a pocket universe of stability. We have billions of years before our bubble changes. We are safe here. Imagine the edge again, the sphere of fire. See it not as a barrier, but as a skin, the skin of the bubble. It holds our reality in. It keeps the chaos out. Inside the skin, the stars shine, the planets spin, the minds dream. You are floating in the center of the sanctuary. Let the concept of the endless wash over you. If the multiverse is real, then nothing ever truly ends. There is always more space. There's always more time. There's always another bubble forming. Creation is continuous. It is a fountain that never runs dry. This is a hopeful thought. It means existence is not a fluke. It is a habit of the cosmos. Let your mind expand to fill the bubble. Feel the vastness of the 93 billion light years. Now try to push past the skin. Try to imagine the bulk. It is hard. Our brains are not wired for it. We evolved to hunt and gather on the plains of Africa, not to visualize 11-dimensional hyperspace. But the feeling of it is simple. It is the feeling of more. There's always more. Let that feeling relax you. You don't have to hoard reality. You don't have to cling to this moment as if it is the last one. There's an infinite supply of moments. Let go of the scarcity mindset. Adopt the multiverse mindset. Abundance, infinity, possibility. As you drift towards sleep, visualize the bubbles again. See them drifting gently in the dark void. You are in the blue one, the one with the stable gravity and the warm stars. It is a good home. In the next chapter, we will return to the inside of our bubble. We will look at the shape of the space within it. We will ask, is our universe flat, or is it curved? If you travel in a straight line for long enough, will you come back to where you started, like flying around the Earth? We will explore the topology of the universe. We will look at the Pac-Man universe theory, the idea that space wraps around. We will look at the donut universe, the torus shape. We will see how geometry defines our prison or our freedom. But for now, stay in the foam. Float between the universes. You are lighter than air, lighter than light. You are a consciousness drifting through the infinite possibility of the bulk. Sleep in the garden of worlds. We have traveled to the edge of time. We have stepped outside the bubble into the foaming ocean of the multiverse. But now, we must return. We must come back inside the house. We must ask a question about the architecture of our own reality. We know the universe is big, but is it infinite, or is it just very, very large? When we look out, we see a horizon, but as we learned, that horizon is just a limit of vision, not a limit of space. The question remains, if you could fly in a straight line, faster than light, past the galaxies, past the wall of fire, past the dark, would you ever hit a true wall? Or would you fly forever? Or, and this is the strangest thought of all, would you eventually find yourself back where you started? Tonight, we will explore the shape of space. We will look at the geometry of the cage we live in. We will ask if the universe is flat like a table, curved like a ball, or twisted like a donut. And we will face the consequences of infinity, the idea that somewhere, far away, there is another version of you asking the exact same question. To understand the shape of the universe, we must first understand the difference between geometry and topology. Geometry is local. It describes the curvature of space in a small area. We know from Einstein that massive objects bend space. The Earth creates a dimple. The Sun creates a valley. Black holes create bottomless pits. Space is bumpy. But topology is global. It describes the overall shape of the entire manifold. Imagine an ant walking on a large sheet of paper. To the ant, the world looks flat. The geometry is Euclidean. Parallel lines stay parallel. Triangles add up to 180 degrees. Now, imagine rolling that paper into a cylinder. To the ant, walking in small circles, the world still feels flat. But if the ant walks in a straight line long enough, it will circumnavigate the cylinder and return to its starting point. The topology has changed. Now, imagine twisting the paper into a Mobius strip, or gluing the edges together to make a donut, a torus. This is the question we face. What is the topology of our 3D space? There are three main possibilities. 1. The closed universe. Space is curved positively like a sphere. If you fly straight, you eventually return to Earth, just as a plane flying straight on Earth returns to the airport. This universe is finite, but it has no edge. You can fly forever without stopping, but you are flying in circles. 2. The open universe. Space is curved negatively, like a saddle or a Pringle chip. In this universe, parallel lines diverge. They drift apart. This universe is infinite. It goes on forever, curling away from itself. 3. The flat universe. Space has zero curvature. Parallel lines stay parallel forever. Lasers never cross. This universe is the simplest. It is the box. How do we measure this? We cannot step outside the universe to look at it. We are the ant on the paper. We use triangles. If you draw a triangle on a flat sheet of paper, the angles add up to 180 degrees. If you draw a triangle on a sphere, like a globe, the angles add up to more than 180 degrees. The curvature puffs the triangle out. If you draw a triangle on a saddle, the angles add up to less than 180 degrees. The curvature pinches the triangle in. So, cosmologists decided to draw the biggest triangle possible. The base of the triangle is the size of a sound wave in the early universe. We know this size precisely from the physics of the Big Bang. It is a standard ruler. The other two sides of the triangle are the light rays traveling from that sound wave to Earth. We looked at the spots on the cosmic microwave background, the wall of fire. The size of these spots tells us the angle of the triangle. We measured it with the Planck satellite. We stared at the heat of the Big Bang with exquisite precision. And the answer was 180 degrees. To within a margin of error of 0.4%, the universe is flat. This was a surprise. General relativity allows space to be curved, but our universe seems to have chosen the specific boring option of being perfectly flat. What does flat mean? It implies that the universe is infinite. If space is flat like a table, and it has no edge, which we assume because edges are physically problematic, then the table must extend forever. An infinite table, infinite stars, infinite galaxies, infinite darkness. It means that the observable universe, our bubble of 93 billion light-years, is just a microscopic patch on an endless quilt. However, there is a loophole, the Pac-Man loophole. Think of the video game Pac-Man. The screen is flat. There is no curvature. But if Pac-Man goes off the right side of the screen, he reappears on the left side. If he goes off the top, he reappears on the bottom. The screen is flat, but it is finite. It wraps around. Topologically, this is a torus, a donut. Could our universe be a 3D donut? Could space be flat, but wrapped? If this is true, then light can travel in loops. If you look deep enough into space, you might see the back of your own head. Or, more realistically, you might see the Milky Way, galaxy as it was billions of years ago. Imagine looking at a distant galaxy, and then looking at another galaxy in the opposite direction, and realizing they are the same galaxy, seen from different sides at different times. The sky would be a hall of mirrors. Because light takes time to travel the loop, the images would be of different ages. The galaxy over there might be the Milky Way as a baby. The galaxy over here might be the Milky Way as a teenager. This would mean the universe is actually much smaller than it looks. We are just seeing the same volume of space repeated over and over, like a tiled floor. Astronomers have searched for these ghost images. They have scoured the map of the cosmic microwave background looking for matching circles, patterns of hot and cold spots that repeat in different parts of the sky. Circles in the sky. If the universe wrapped around, the fireball of the Big Bang would intersect itself. We should see the scar of that intersection. We looked, and we found nothing. No repeating circles, no ghost galaxies. This tells us that if the universe does wrap around, the loop is larger than our horizon. The screen of the video game is bigger than the distance light has traveled since the Big Bang. So, for all practical purposes, we are back to the infinite flatness. Let us grapple with the idea of infinity. It is a word we use easily, but it is a concept that breaks the human mind. If the universe is truly infinite, and if it is filled with matter and energy roughly evenly, which it seems to be, then there's an infinite amount of stuff. Infinite stars, infinite planets, infinite dust. But the number of ways to arrange that stuff is finite. Take a box the size of a human being. Fill it with atoms. There are only a certain number of ways you can arrange those atoms within the laws of quantum mechanics. It is a huge number, 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 70. But it is not infinity. It is a limit. If you have an infinite supply of boxes, space, and a finite number of arrangements, atoms, eventually you must repeat an arrangement. You must repeat this arrangement. Mathematics dictates that if you travel far enough, about 10 to the power of 10 to the power of 29 meters, you will find another volume of space that is identical to this one. You will find another Earth. It will have the same continents, the same cities, the same house. And inside that house, there will be another you. This doppelganger is sitting there, listening to this story, wondering about the universe. They have your memories, they have your scars, they have your dreams. They are indistinguishable from you. And not just one. In an infinite universe, there are infinite copies of you. There is a version of you that made a different choice yesterday. A version that became an astronaut. A version that didn't listen to this story. Every possible variation of your life is played out, somewhere in the endless flat plane. This is the Level 1 Multiverse. It is not a separate bubble universe with different physics. It is just far away in this universe. Does this thought comfort you or terrify you? It removes the burden of uniqueness. You are not a solitary accident. You are a chord that the universe plays over and over again. You are a necessary consequence of the infinite. But it also makes the universe feel crowded. Even though the doppelgangers are separated by distances so vast that light can never cross between them, the knowledge of their existence changes the feeling of the dark. The dark is not empty. It is a mirror, an infinite hall of mirrors. However, there is a caveat. This logic relies on the universe being truly infinite. We don't know that for sure. We only know it is flat. It could be a flat torus that is just incredibly huge, billions of times larger than our horizon, but still finite. In that case, you might be unique. Or inflation might have stopped in a way that created a finite, flat patch. We simply don't know. The edge of our vision prevents us from seeing the repetition. The horizon protects our individuality. Let us return to the shape. Think about the implications of flatness for the future. If the universe were curved like a sphere, closed, gravity would eventually stop the expansion. The sphere would stop growing and start shrinking. All the galaxies would fall back together. The temperature would rise. The sky would turn from black to red to white. The Big Crunch. It would be the end of time, a fiery death. But because the universe is flat and driven by dark energy, this will not happen. A flat universe with dark energy expands forever. It never stops. It never recollapses. It just gets colder, darker, emptier. The geometry of the universe dictates a lonely death, the Big Freeze. This sounds grim, but there is a serenity in it. It means the universe is stable. It is not going to crush us. It is giving us time, infinite time. It is opening the door to eternity. Even after the stars die, particles will interact. Quantum events will happen. In an infinite amount of time, strange things can happen. Boltzmann brains. Entropy says disorder increases, but random fluctuations can create temporary order. If you wait long enough, trillions upon trillions of years, a random fluctuation in the vacuum could theoretically assemble a working brain, complete with memories. It would exist for a second, think a thought, and then dissolve back into the vacuum. In an infinite future, there will be infinite Boltzmann brains. Are you one of them? Is this reality, a hallucination of a brain formed in the deep future void? Probably not. The math says it's much more likely you are a biological being born from evolution. But the fact that physics allows for these ghosts shows how strange the infinite flatlands can be. Let us pull back from the edge of madness. Let us return to the simple geometry of the room. Look at the corners of your room, 3 lines meeting at 90 degrees. This is Euclidean geometry. It feels right. It feels solid. The universe is built on this same grid. The lines of sight stretch out straight forever. Feel the stability of the grid. You are located at a specific coordinate in an endless matrix, x, y, z. The matrix is expanding, yes, the grid lines are stretching, but the shape remains true. You are not sliding down a sphere. You are not sliding off a saddle. You are resting on a level plane. This flatness is a form of balance. The density of the universe is exactly right to keep space flat. If there were a little more mass, it would curve into a ball. If there were a little less, it would curve into a saddle. But the universe hit the bullseye. The density is exactly the critical density. This is the flatness problem. Why is it so perfect? Inflation answers this too. Imagine a balloon. The surface is curved. Now blow it up until it is the size of the Earth. If you stand on it, it looks flat. Now, blow it up until it is the size of the galaxy. It looks perfectly, mathematically flat. Inflation stretched the universe so much that any original curvature was smoothed out. We live on a balloon so huge that we cannot see the curve. So, we are likely on a sphere after all. Just a sphere of incomprehensible size. This reconciles the finite and the infinite. The universe might be finite, a sphere, but so huge that it acts infinite, flat. It means we are not lost in an endless void. We are just small. Smallness is peaceful. You don't have to fill the universe. You don't have to understand the whole shape. You just have to occupy your coordinate. As you drift towards sleep, visualize the grid lines of space extending from your body. Up, down, left, right, forward, back. Follow the lines in your mind. Watch them shoot out through the walls, through the atmosphere, into the black. Watch them pass the moon, past the planets, past the stars. They go on, straight, true, unwavering. They pierce the wall of fire, the CMB. They pierce the darkness of the Dark Ages. They keep going into the endless elsewhere. You are the anchor point of these lines, the origin, 02 and 02. The entire coordinate system of the cosmos is relative to you. You are the center of the geometry. The flat universe is a stage built for you to rest on. It is not a trap, it is a platform. In the next chapter, we will look at what happens when the platform gets shaky. We will explore the false vacuum. We have assumed the vacuum is stable, but what if it isn't? What if space itself is in a metastable state, like a ball perched on a ledge waiting to fall to a lower energy level? We will look at the possibility of vacuum decay, a bubble of true vacuum forming and expanding at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it goes. It sounds scary, but it is also a form of rebirth, a cleansing fire. And because it travels at light speed, we would never see it coming. It is the ultimate surprise, the ultimate end of the edge. But for now, the vacuum holds, the grid is steady, the lines are straight. The triangle adds up to 180 degrees. The world makes sense. Rest in the geometry. Sleep on the plane. The infinite flatland is calm tonight. We have spent the night building a sense of security. We have mapped the bubble of the observable universe. We have measured the geometry of space and found it to be flat, stable, and infinite. we have convinced ourselves that the grid of reality is solid, a reliable stage upon which the drama of the stars can play out for trillions of years. But there is one final question we must ask, a question that gnaws at the roots of physics. We know the stage is flat, but is the stage safe? Imagine walking on a frozen lake. The ice looks solid. It stretches to the horizon, white and flat. You feel secure, but deep down, you know that the ice is just a state of water. It is temporary. If the temperature changes, the ice melts. The solid floor becomes a liquid abyss. Tonight, we will ask if the universe itself is made of ice. We will explore the possibility that the vacuum, the empty space we rely on, is not the final state of reality. We will look at the theory of false vacuum. We will visualize the ultimate cosmic catastrophe, a bubble of true vacuum forming in the deep dark, expanding at the speed of light, rewriting the laws of physics as it comes, and we will find a strange absolute peace in the face of the ultimate surprise. To understand the stability of space, we must look at energy landscapes. In physics, everything tries to move to the lowest possible energy state. Hold a ball in your hand. It has gravitational potential energy. Let it go. It falls. It seeks the floor. Why? Because the floor is a lower energy state than your hand. The ball wants to rest. Now imagine the ball is rolling down a mountainside. It rolls into a small valley, a depression in the slope, and stops. It is at rest. It seems stable. But it is not at the bottom of the mountain. There is a deeper valley further down. The ball is trapped in a local minimum. It is stable for now, but if you gave it a kick, just enough to push it over the ridge of the little valley, it would start rolling again. It would fall all the way to the true bottom. This is the question for the universe. Is our vacuum at the bottom of the mountain? Or are we stuck in a little valley halfway up? To answer this, we must look at the field that gives the universe its mass, the Higgs field. The Higgs field is like an invisible fluid that fills all of space. Every particle swims through it. Some particles, like electrons and quarks, interact with the fluid. They get bogged down. They gain mass. Other particles, like photons, slip through without touching it. They remain massless and fly at the speed of light. The value of the Higgs field, how thick the fluid is, determines the mass of everything. It determines the size of atoms. It determines the strength of chemistry. It sets the rules of the game. We used to assume that the current value of the Higgs field was zero, the lowest possible state. We assumed we were at the bottom of the mountain, the true vacuum. But in 2012, we found the Higgs boson. The Large Hadron Collider smashed protons together and popped a piece of the field into existence. We measured its mass, 125 giga-electron volts, GeV. This number is terrifyingly specific. When we plug this mass into the equations of the Standard Model, along with the mass of the top quark, the math tells us something unsettling. It tells us that we are not at the bottom. We are on a ledge. The universe appears to be metastable. Stable means you are at the bottom. You can stay there forever. Unstable means you are on a slope. You fall immediately. Metastable means you are on a ledge. You can stay there for a long time, maybe billions of years, but you are not safe. There is a lower state waiting below. This lower state is the true vacuum. In the true vacuum, the Higgs field has a different value, a higher value, or perhaps zero. We don't know, but it is different. If the universe were to fall into the true vacuum, the laws of physics would change instantly. The mass of the electron would change, atoms might not hold together, chemistry would become impossible, stars would not burn, life as we know it could not exist. So, what keeps us on the ledge? A barrier, an energy hill. Just like the ball needs a kick to get out of the little valley, the Higgs field needs a kick to get over the barrier to the true vacuum. That barrier is huge. To jump over it, we would need to concentrate immense energy in a tiny space, more energy than exists in the entire galaxy. So, classically, we are safe. We cannot climb the wall. But we live in a quantum universe, and in quantum mechanics, you don't need to climb the wall. You can tunnel through it. Quantum tunneling is the ability of a particle to pass through a barrier even if it doesn't have enough energy to climb over it. It borrows energy from the vacuum, teleports through the wall, and appears on the other side. Usually, we see this with electrons or protons, but the Higgs field is a quantum field. It can tunnel too. Calculations show that, given enough time, there's a non-zero probability that a tiny patch of space, somewhere in the universe, will tunnel through the barrier. It could happen anywhere, in the center of the sun, in the dark, between the galaxies, in the corner of your room. What happens if it does? A bubble forms. Imagine a pot of superheated water. It is liquid even though it is above the boiling point. It is metastable. Suddenly, a single bubble of steam creates itself. This bubble creates a new reality. Inside the bubble is the true vacuum. Outside is the false vacuum, us. Because the true vacuum has lower energy, the transition releases energy, massive amounts of it. The wall of the bubble becomes a shell of concentrated destruction. The bubble expands. It is driven by the energy difference. It pushes outward, and because the energy is released into massless fields, the wall moves at the speed of light. This is the scenario of vacuum decay. Imagine this bubble starting 1 billion light-years away. It expands. It eats the galaxy it started in. It shreds the stars, rewriting their atoms into some new alien form of matter. It grows. It swallows the next galaxy, and the next. It is coming for us. But here's the catch. The wall is moving at the speed of light. We see the universe through light. We see distant objects only when their light reaches us. If the bubble is coming at the speed of light, it arrives at the exact same moment as the light from its own leading edge. You cannot see it coming. There is no warning, no flash on the horizon, no darkening of the stars. One moment, you are looking at the sky, just as you always have. The next moment, you are gone. The wall passes through the Earth in a fraction of a second. It passes through your body in a nanosecond. Your nerve impulses travel at 100 meters per second. The wall travels at 300 million meters per second. You would not feel pain. You would not feel fear. You would not even register that anything had happened. Your brain would cease to exist before the signal from your eyes could reach your visual cortex. It is the ultimate painless end. And then, inside the bubble, the universe settles into its new state, the true vacuum. Maybe the new laws of physics allow for a different kind of chemistry. Maybe new stars form, strange, dense stars made of different particles. Maybe new life arises, evolved to live in the true vacuum. They would look back at the physics of our universe, if they could reconstruct it, and think, How could anything live in that high-energy, unstable state? It must have been chaos. This idea that our universe is just a temporary phase is humbling. We think of the laws of nature as written in stone, eternal, unchanging. Gravity is gravity. Electromagnetism is electromagnetism. But vacuum decay tells us that the laws are just weather. They are the local conditions of our current epoch. They can change just as water changes to ice. Is this terrifying? To the ego, yes. The ego wants to persist. The ego wants to leave a mark that lasts forever. But to the contemplative mind, there is a deep peace in this fragility. It forces us to live in the present. If the future is not guaranteed, not even the future of physics itself, then the now becomes infinitely precious. The fact that atoms hold together right now is a gift. The fact that the sun shines right now is a gift. The fact that you are conscious right now is a miracle of stability in a metastable sea. Consider the probability. The universe has existed for 13.8 billion years. It hasn't popped yet. Calculations suggest that the lifetime of our metastable vacuum is likely vastly longer than the current age of the universe, perhaps 10 to the power of 100 years. We are sitting on a very solid ledge. The ice is thick. And even if a bubble nucleated right now, far away, the expansion of the universe might save us. Remember dark energy, the accelerating expansion. Space is stretching. If the space between us and the bubble stretches faster than the speed of light, the bubble will never reach us. The bubble wall is running on a treadmill that is speeding up. If the bubble starts beyond our cosmic horizon, it is causally disconnected from us. It is happening in a different universe, effectively. It can eat its own patch of the multiverse, but it cannot eat us. We are protected by the speed of our retreat. But let us go back to the philosophical weight of the false vacuum. It suggests that the universe is still evolving. We usually think of evolution as something biological. Animals change, but physics suggests the cosmos itself evolves. It started in the high-energy state of inflation. Then it decayed into the Big Bang. Then it cooled into the current state. Perhaps the true vacuum is just the next step, the next maturity. The universe is falling asleep. Just as you go through stages of sleep, light sleep, REM, deep sleep, the universe goes through phase transitions. We are currently in a long, lucid dream called the stelliferous era, the era of stars. Eventually, the universe will wake, up or fall deeper into the next state. Imagine the bubble not as a destroyer, but as a cleanser. It wipes the slate clean. All the mistakes, all the suffering, all the entropy and waste of billions of years are erased instantly. It restores the potential of the vacuum. It is the cosmic equivalent of a deep breath, a reset button. As you lie in the dark, think about the space in your room. We said before that it is seething with virtual particles. Now we add another layer. It is tense. The Higgs field is holding a certain value, like a taut string. It is humming with the effort of keeping the electrons heavy. It is maintaining the structure of your body. Feel gratitude for the field. It is the invisible floor that keeps you from falling into the abyss of massless chaos. You are supported by the tension of the cosmos. This tension is not a stress, it is a structural integrity, like the tension in the cables of a suspension bridge. It holds the road up. The false vacuum is the bridge we walk on. Let us visualize the sombrero potential one more time. Picture a Mexican hat, a sombrero. The ball, the universe, started at the very top of the hat in the middle, unstable. Then it rolled down into the brim, the trough. That is where we are now. We are rolling around the brim of the hat. It is a nice place to be. It is flat. It is wide. There is plenty of room for galaxies and planets. The true vacuum is the ground outside the hat. Maybe we will never fall off the brim. Maybe the hat is infinite. Or maybe, just maybe, the hat is slowly tilting. But the time scales are the comfort. Human life is 80 years. Civilization is 10,000 years. The species is 200,000 years. The Earth is 4 billion years. The universe is 13 billion years. The lifetime of the vacuum is likely trillions of years. Compared to the flash of a human thought, the vacuum is eternal. You are safe. The floor is thick enough. The false floor is true enough for us. Let the worry dissipate. The mind likes to find threats. It scans the bushes for tigers. It scans the future for poverty. It scans the sky for asteroids. And now, it scans the vacuum for bubbles. It is just the brain doing its job, trying to protect the self. But against this threat, there is no protection, and therefore there is no responsibility. You cannot dig a bunker against the laws of physics. You cannot insure yourself against the Higgs field. This total lack of control is liberating. If you can do nothing, you have to do nothing. You can simply let go. Surrender to the metastable moment. The bed holds you, the earth holds you, the field holds you. For this breath at least, the laws of physics are constant. Inhale, the electrons are heavy. Exhale, the photons are light. The world is consistent. In the final chapter, we will leave the physics behind completely. We will step back from the edge of the universe, the edge of time, and the edge of the vacuum. We will return to the center, to the only place that truly exists for you. The consciousness, the observer. We will reflect on the journey. Why do we seek the edge? Why do we want to know what is outside the bubble? We will find that the edge is actually a mirror. By looking at the limits of the universe, we define ourselves. We will end with a meditation on the inner horizon, the edge of sleep. But for now, rest on the ledge. The view is beautiful from here. You can see the stars, you can see the dark. The precariousness of life makes it precious. The fragility of the vacuum makes the existence of the atom a triumph. You are a rare and beautiful structure, holding your shape against the probability of decay. You are winning the game of existence simply by being here. Sleep in that victory. We have traveled to the furthest reaches of space and time. We have stood before the wall of fire that marks the beginning of the universe. We have looked over the precipice into the foaming chaos of the multiverse. We have questioned the shape of space, the stability of the vacuum, and the fate of the light. We have spent 6 nights looking for the edge. We searched for it in the redshift, in the geometry, and in the dark energy. We found that the edge is elusive. It moves as we move. It fades as we approach. It is a ghost boundary, defined not by the universe itself, but by our ability to see it. Tonight, in this final chapter, we will stop looking out. We will turn the telescope around. we will realize that the journey to the edge was actually a journey to find the center. Because you cannot have a horizon without an observer. You cannot have a limit without a point of origin. The edge defines the center, and the center is you. Let us reflect on the structure of the observable universe. We learned that it is a sphere, 93 billion light-years across. But where is that sphere located? It is not fixed in space like a majestic monument. It travels. It is tethered to the eye of the beholder. If you were to travel to the Andromeda Galaxy, the sphere would move with you. You would lose sight of the furthest galaxies behind you, and you would gain sight of new galaxies ahead of you. The bubble is portable. This means that you are always, inevitably, at the exact geometric center of your own reality. Physics tells us there is no preferred frame of reference. The universe has no absolute center, but perception does have a center. It has a 0 point. The coordinates of the cosmos are 0, 0, right where you are sitting. Think about the implications of this. The entire dome of the sky, the arrangement of the constellations, the recession of the galaxies. It is all organized relative to your position. The light from the Big Bang, that ancient red-shifted fire, is converging on you from all directions. It has traveled for 13 billion years through the dark, bypassing trillions of other planets, missing dust clouds and black holes, just to end its journey on your skin. You are the focal point of cosmic history. The universe is streaming into you. This removes the feeling of insignificance. We often feel small when looking at the stars. We feel like dust motes in a cathedral. But the physics of the horizon flips the script. The cathedral is built around the dust mote. The limit of the universe exists because you exist to witness it. Now, let us consider the nature of limits. Throughout this story, we have encountered barriers: the speed of light, the event horizon, the Planck length, the wall of the bubble. Our instinct is to resent barriers. We want to be limitless. We want to know everything, see everything, go everywhere. We see the edge as a prison wall. But what if the edge is not a prison wall, but a cradle? Imagine a universe without limits, a universe where light traveled instantly, a universe where you could see every star, every galaxy, every atom in the infinite cosmos all at once. It would be blinding. It would be deafening. The sheer volume of information would instantly incinerate your mind. You would be crushed by the weight of the infinite. The horizons protect us. The speed of light limit protects us from seeing everything at once. It forces the universe to reveal itself slowly, sequentially, like a story. It creates the concept of then and now. The cosmic horizon protects us from the infinite energy of the Big Bang. It stretches the fire until it is a harmless hum. The event horizon of a black hole protects us from the breakdown of physics at the singularity. It hides the madness. The limits are filters. They reduce the voltage of reality down to a level that a biological being can survive. We live in the Goldilocks zone of information. We know just enough to function, but not enough to be overwhelmed. This is a comfort. It means you do not have to understand everything. The universe has installed safety rails. There are things you are physically incapable of knowing, and that is a mercy. You can let go of the need for total control. The physics forbids it anyway. Let us bring this concept closer to home. Let us move from the cosmic horizon to the personal horizon. Your senses have an edge. You can only see a certain spectrum of light. You cannot see the radio waves carrying the internet through your room. You cannot see the ultraviolet damage on your skin. You cannot see the heat radiating from the walls. You can only hear a certain range of sound. You cannot hear the low rumble of the earth shifting or the high-pitched cry of a bat. You are living inside a sensory bubble, a phenomenological horizon. Just like the universe, your personal reality is a small island of clarity surrounded by a vast ocean of the unknown. And just like the universe, this limit is protective. If you could feel every air molecule hitting your skin, you would go mad. If you could hear every heartbeat in the house, you would never sleep. The brain creates an edge. It filters out the noise. It darkens the room of your mind so you can focus on the candle of your thoughts. Sleep is the ultimate tightening of this horizon. Think of the process of falling asleep as a cosmological event. It is the big crunch of consciousness. When you are awake, your horizon is wide. You are aware of the world, the news, the past, the future. Your light cone is expanded. But as you get tired, the horizon begins to shrink. First, you lose the distant world. The worries about work, about politics, about the future, they drift over the edge. They become a causal. They cannot affect you right now. Then you lose the immediate room. The shadows on the wall blur. The sounds of the street fade. The sensory input is redshifted into silence. Then you lose the body. The sensation of the limbs fades. The proprioception, the map of where your arms and legs are, dissolves. You become a floating point of awareness. Finally, you lose the self. The I vanishes. The horizon has collapsed to a singularity. You have crossed the event horizon of sleep. Inside that horizon, the laws of physics change. Time becomes fluid in dreams. Space bends. Identity morphs. You enter a different bubble universe. And then, in the morning, the Big Bang happens again. The horizon expands. The senses turn on. The light floods in. The world is reconstructed from the void. We do this every night. We practice the end of the universe and the beginning of the universe. We are experts at navigating the edge. So why do we fear the dark? Why do we fear the unknown? We have been conditioned to think that safety lies in seeing, in knowing, in lighting up the map. But this journey has taught us that the light has a limit. There's only so far you can see. Beyond that, you must trust the dark. You must trust that the universe continues even when you aren't looking at it. The galaxies beyond the cosmic horizon are still there, spiraling in the dark, even though we will never see them. The future is there, waiting, even though it is outside our light cone. Trust is the bridge across the gap. As you lie in bed, realize that you are suspended in a web of forces you cannot see. Gravity is holding you. You cannot see it. The atmosphere is pressing on you. You cannot see it. The magnetic field of the earth is shielding you. You cannot see it. The most important things in your life are invisible. They exist beyond the edge of vision. Let us visualize the nesting dolls of protection one last time. The multiverse foam holds the bubble. The bubble holds the cosmic web. The cosmic web holds the galaxy. The galaxy holds the sun. The sun holds the earth. The earth holds the room. The room holds you. You are the precious cargo at the center of the nesting dolls. The entire machinery of the cosmos, the inflation, the expansion, the gravity, the cooling, has conspired to create a pocket of stability where you can lie down and breathe. The edge is simply the outer shell of this protection. Consider the concept of elsewhere. In relativity, events that cannot affect you are elsewhere. They are physically disconnected from your now. Tonight, let your problems be elsewhere. Classify them as space-like separated. The email you have to write tomorrow? It is outside your light cone. It physically cannot be written tonight. It is forbidden by the laws of space-time. The regret about the conversation yesterday? It is outside your light cone. It is in the absolute past. No signal can reach it. The only thing inside the cone is the breath, the heartbeat, the warmth of the sheets. You are allowed to ignore the rest. In fact, you are required to. Embrace the physics of isolation. Solitude is not loneliness. Solitude is the integrity of the bubble. A bubble is beautiful because it is whole. It creates a space inside that is distinct from the outside. Tonight, your solitude is your sanctuary. You have closed the door. You have drawn the curtains. You have pulled the event horizon tight around your shoulders. You are a universe of one. Let us revisit the redshift one last time. We saw how light gets tired, how it stretches into long, low-energy waves. Feel your own energy redshifting. The high-frequency vibrations of the day, the beta waves of the alert brain, are stretching out. They are becoming the long, rolling waves of the ocean. The color of your mind is shifting from blue to red to black. This isn't a loss of energy. It's a conservation of energy. You are banking the fire. You are putting the coals to sleep so they will still be warm in the morning. The heat death of the mind is necessary for the rebirth of the morning. Allow the cooling. Feel the temperature of your thoughts dropping. Hot, angry thoughts, cooling. Warm, anxious thoughts, cooling. Lukewarm, wandering thoughts, cooling. Until you reach the absolute zero of deep sleep, the vacuum state. In that vacuum, there is potential. The quantum foam of dreams will bubble up from the nothingness, but for now, seek the stillness. The edge is not something to be feared. The edge is the shore. You have been swimming in the ocean of consciousness all day, fighting the waves, treading water. Now you have reached the shore, the solid ground of sleep. You can stop swimming. You can let the tide pull you in. Imagine the edge of the universe coming closer, not as a wall of fire, but as a curtain of velvet. It is closing in gently. It starts at the stars. They wink out. It comes to the planets. They fade. It comes to the walls of the room. They dissolve. It comes to the body. It softens. The universe is getting smaller, simpler, quieter. It is shrinking down to a single point of light, the I am. And even that point is ready to fade. Let it go. There is no edge anymore. There is no center. There's just the drift. You are falling through the false vacuum, but you will never hit the bottom. The fall is eternal. The fall is flight. You are sliding along the flat plane of the infinite. You are riding the expansion into the dark eras. You are safe. The laws of physics are watching over you. Gravity holds you. Entropy cools you. Light waits for you. The story of the universe is a story of becoming, and tonight you are becoming rest. The boundary is dissolved. The frontier is crossed. Sleep in the boundless. sleep in the center. Good night.